Hi, I'm glad you could join me for another 5 minutes with the Gospel of Mark. Tonight we're going to be in chapter 4, verses 33 to 41. With many such parables, Jesus spoke the word to them as they were able to hear it. He did not speak with them except in parables, but he explained everything in private to his disciples. On that day, when evening had come, he said to them, "Let us go across to the other side." And leaving the crowd behind, they took him with them in the boat, just as he was. Other boats were with him. A great windstorm arose, and the waves beat into the boat so that the boat was already being swamped. But he was in the stern, asleep on the cushion. And they woke him up and said to him, "Teacher, do you not care that we are perishing?" He woke up and rebuked the wind and said to the sea, "Peace, be still." Then the wind ceased, and there was a dead calm. He said to them, "Why are you afraid? Have you still no faith?" And they were filled with great awe and said to one another, "Who then is this, that even the wind and the sea obey him?" There, as always in Mark, is a lot going on in these verses. The first two, verses 33 and verses 34, give us a little bit of a picture again about this whole idea of Jesus revealing things to the insiders and to the disciples. And they seem to say that he does. So then we get to this storm in the boat. We don't know where Jesus is going. We know only that he's going to the other side of the sea. Not a whole lot more about what that means other than he's going to the other side. And the boat is not alone. Jesus is sleeping, which makes sense to me because he's had a long day. And a storm comes up. And what's interesting for me is in the other Gospels, in Matthew and in Luke, the disciples say, "Lord, save us." Or they say, "Master, we are perishing." Yet in Mark's Gospel, "Teacher, do you not care that we are perishing?" So I think in that there's a little bit more of a tug at the humanity of Jesus, trying to elicit a response in compassion. It seems as if they know that Jesus can do something and they're waiting for him to do it. It doesn't seem as much in the other gospels maybe as maybe they did. Maybe they did know he could save them. But this again suggests that they're appealing to the humanity of Jesus. And then what happens is very interesting because as Jesus wakes up, the word that Mark uses is he rebuked the wind and said to the sea, "Peace and be still." And that word rebuke is the same thing that Jesus does to the demons in the Gospel of Mark. He rebukes them, he tells them to come out, and he tells them to be silent. So not only do we see that Jesus has power over the forces of nature, but if you put those two things together, he rebukes the wind and the storm just like he rebukes the demons. And he tells them to be still, just like he tells the demons. That's something to think about and to try to figure out how it goes together, because there is something there with those two pieces fitting together. And then there's a little bit of the great awe, the disciples being filled with great awe, is more about fear. It's this awe of Jesus, but there's also a fear. What is he doing? How can he do it? Why does he do it? And then, who then is this that even the wind and the sea obey him? By now, you would think that the disciples who've been on the inside, who've seen the other miracles, who've heard the word, who've seen the seed planted in their lives, would begin to understand the power of Jesus. But they don't yet. When will they? When will they get it? It's for another day, and thank you so much for joining me.